Hi, I'm Nadia and I'm a travel and life coach. I've been traveling around the world over past 20 years, and that's been from like short holidays, short little weekend trips to longer bouts of traveling. I've been to 65 countries so far, and for me, travel is just one of the most amazing things you can do. It opens up your eyes, you get to explore more of other cultures, other places, see the most incredible sunsets. Travel is just, it's one of my passions. And I remember the first time I ever went on a long haul trip. That was to Mexico. And I went with friends and I was in my early 20s. So I remember stepping foot on the like off of the plane, stepping foot from the hotel onto the beach, and all I remember is just like, wow. I looked at the sea, and you've got this beautiful blue sea, white sand. I've never seen sand so white before, and never seen the colours of the sea so vibrant and beautiful and turquoise, and just it was just absolutely amazing. And that holiday, that trip to Mexico, I think something changed. I've been to other places in Europe, but that was my first long haul trip, and it just changed something in me. It was like a first of many, the first long haul, the first time I tried scuba diving. It was the first time for many things, and I experienced, the culture, learned a little tiny bit of Spanish, and I just became obsessed. I think from that moment, it filled me with so much joy. I was like, oh, I've got to explore more of this world. Like, wow, like what's out there. So yeah, my traveling, I suppose that it really started from then, and I've been traveling ever since. So I always try to get in trips. I've been the longest I've been traveling is probably 6 months at a time. Typically, the last one was about 3 months, and I'm currently filming this in Santa Marta in Colombia. So I've been to Colombia. I was in Colombia in April, so I've returned, and yeah, I think Colombia has a little bit of my heart. So I just, for me, travel is the most beautiful thing you can do, and it helps you. It's helped me gain clarity, build confidence. It's thrown me outside of my comfort zone, but by doing that, it's enabled me to grow as a person and discover what I really wanted in life. I mean, I had stages where I've been really, really low. Period of my teens, my late teens, was a really, really bad period for me, in which I got to the lowest point I've ever been in my life. And I thought there was no way out. And I ended up being severely depressed on antidepressants. And it was a really, really traumatic time at that period of my life. But I came through it, and it took a while. But through that time of depression and getting so low, I realized that there was something to live for. My life was worth it. I was worth something. And so I started to build myself up. I started learning, buying courses, reading books. I went on a period of self discovery. So that self discovery has continued for decades now into, and it will continue forever. For me, learning is just key. Learning about other things, learning about yourself. I don't think there's ever a cut off, there's no end. It's the journey, and it's about going on that journey. And I certainly went on a journey, but I've learned a lot of things on the way, and I've learned a lot about myself. But I discovered through that trip to Mexico that there's this big wide world out there. And then I just got the bug, and always have to go somewhere every year. I think I get really, if I'm not traveling within a couple of months, or it doesn't feel right to me. I feel really, I suppose, yeah, it just really affects my psyche. So for me, travel is a must. It's something that uplifts me. I remember at the start of this year, I had going from Christmas period, really, from the Christmas period into the new year, I was at another lull in my life. Not a lull as when I was in my teens, but I was at a lull, and I literally felt I was at a crossroads. I was, my background's in digital marketing. I was at a company, and it was a great company, and I enjoyed what I was doing, but there was something missing. And in that period of time, I just felt that I had no motivation for anything. I didn't know what I wanted. I knew I wanted to make an impact, and I didn't feel I was making an impact. And I felt, what am I doing with life? And all these questions kept on going on. I woke up in the morning. Sometimes I would be crying, and I was like, what is going on with me? I just felt completely lost, completely at a crossroads in life, and just wondering what my next move was. And this job was fully remote anyway, but they agreed that I could go traveling and work remotely from South America. So I started off in Peru. And I tell you, as soon as I got to Peru, and there was just something about being in a different environment that just absolutely changed my whole outlook. I just felt so much lighter. And I did the trail, the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu, and it was there that I discovered. Well, I had a lot of thinking time, and I just discovered more about myself, I suppose. More about there's something about being in nature, and then something about exerting yourself and just being around and in a different environment that I was just like, I feel like it's home, even though it's not my home, but just stepping foot into a different scenario, surrounding yourself with different things, different people, different cultures, it just felt like a great weight had been lifted. Anyway, with this new sense of, I suppose, self, I felt a lot better within myself. I felt happy again and just free. And I think freedom is a big key for me. So I continued working, and I just took some holidays as well so I could experience certain things. So I went to Peru, then Brazil, and no, Peru, then the Galapagos in Ecuador, then Brazil, then Argentina, then Colombia, and then finally Margarita Island in Venezuela. But through this time, I also signed up to a masterclass coaching program, and it just really, really helped cement every that along, combined with the travel, the thinking time that you get when you're solo traveling, helps you clarify. It helped me clarify certain things completely. So from climbing, these really steep inclines in on the Machu Picchu Inca Trail, and having that time to reflect, and then other moments of solitude throughout my travel experience, combined with the learning, just made me really think that, you know what, I really want to make an impact, and I really, really love travel. How can I marry up the two? So that's where Get Going with Nadia was born. And because I found so much clarity, because I've gained confidence, I've discovered more about myself, I want to share that with others as well. And I want to help women uh, in particular with preparing for their first solo trip. I've got 65 countries under my belt. I've traveled solo to many countries, and there are challenges, but there's great rewards as well. And just being able to share that and help others experience that is why Get Going with Nadia was born. It's to help women prepare for their first solo trip or next one if you haven't done it for a long time, and also help them gain clarity or build confidence or discover more about themselves. It's about going through a transformation, so helping that transformation while you're traveling, working out what you want in life, But doing it solo is just one of the best things because it gives you time to think. It gives you time to really go inwards and explore yourself. And I just feel travel is one of the best ways to discover yourself. It's one of the best ways to get the understanding and discover more about what you want and who you are as a person. And I want to share that with others, which is why Get Going with Nadia was born, to help women go on that transformative journey and really discover themselves, whilst also having a lot of fun and creating memories of a lifetime.